but if the Federal Reserve is putting the money in, then that means that they're buying, and
okay, that's true.
And so then the people, well, if the government is buying the bonds, then the people are selling the bonds, and I guess when selling the bonds, it reduces the rate. But no, never mind. I lost my train of thought.
Well, when people sell bonds to the Federal Reserve, yeah, so if the Federal Reserve increased the money supply, then when people sell bonds, wait, they sell bonds so they get more money, don't they?
Yeah, so the Federal Reserve is buying the money, or they're buying the bonds and exchange it with money, and with more people having more money, wouldn't that raise? Because with more,
I think they want to.
Well, no, there's more money to loan out then, so then the interest rates come down.
Right, the interest rate's down. So I think we agree that the interest rate needs to go up, right? So are they selling bonds or buying bonds?
Well, we're talking in terms of people. So if the reserves are putting the money into the market, so they got to be buying the bonds. So that means for the people, wouldn't they be the ones selling?
Well, I think you have to look at it after the Federal Reserve has increased the money supply.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so the interest rate has fallen, and if people want the interest rate to go back up, then they would probably need to buy bonds, right? And then they would be. I put A starting out with, but now I'm thinking about D, because if they were to buy bonds, that would take the money back. That would reduce the money supply, which would raise interest rates, right?
Yeah, but being as a person or people, I wouldn't want high interest rates.
Well, you would if you had a lot of money. So if there's a lot of money supply.
Okay.
Well, if you're buying bonds, you want high interest rates.
Right. Well.
Well, that's my first thought was D, but then I went to B, and then I kept back and forth. But my conclusion just came to A, because I just, from my brief reading, understood that the federal government put money in, and by them putting money in, they would need to buy the bonds. And so, in terms of the people, they would then initially want to sell their bonds to the Federal Reserve. And in the exchange, the people kind of towards the end, like the people that wait too long to sell their bonds, the interest rate keeps going up. And that's how I kind of confused myself.
Well, let's see. It says here, if the interest rate, okay, so you have the equilibrium interest rate, and it says that if the interest rate is at any other level, people will try to adjust their portfolios of assets, and as a result, drive the interest rate towards the equilibrium. So if the interest rate is low, the Federal Reserve increased the money supply, so that drove the interest rate down, right?
Right.
And so if the interest rate's low, then people wouldn't want to buy bonds because it's low. They'd want to sell bonds.
So we have money, we have excess money, and so with that extra money, we would buy bonds.
Well, how does it work? Let's see. If the interest rate's low, isn't it? If the interest rate is low, then people want to get into stocks, right? And if the interest rate's high, people want to get out of stocks and get into bonds. So yeah, they wouldn't want to buy bonds.
Yes, because of liquidity. You're right.
So sell bonds when interest rate rises.
But I mean, why would we buy bonds to make the interest rate fall?
Right. That's what I'm agreeing with you, Gordon. I think I agree with you on A now after thinking it through. I don't know how everybody else feels though.
Mark.
Because yeah, if they're increasing the money supply, then yeah, people would probably want to get rid of their bonds. Because the interest rate's falling.
Because the interest rate's falling. That makes sense. Okay, so A. That works for me.
I guess.
All right. I'm glad we resolved
So what
that.
did we get on 1 through 3?
On 1, we had C. 2, we had D as in dog. And 3, we had B as in boy.
Okay, cool.
And 4, we're going with A, I think.
Okay. So then I got 5.
Sure.
And so for 5, with the Fed conduct open market purchases, the money supply, I got A, increase in aggregate demand shifts right.
That's what I chose.
Anybody have anything else? Does everybody agree?
I picked D.
I also picked D, but I think I was wrong.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm going through right now in my brain is based on the Fed conducts open market purchases.
Right, so they're buying and putting money out, increasing the money supply.
They're buying the money supply, they're increasing money supply. So, but with the lower interest rate, then it's got to shift left.
Well, no, it shifts demand right for the money supply. Because with the lower interest rate, people want more money to buy houses and cars and things like that.
Okay.
Right? Am I right on
Yeah,
that, guys?
you're right. I wasn't thinking money supply. I was thinking interest rate coming down. Money supply.
All right, so we're good with A?
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, this is a tough one. Okay, Christina, I think we're back to you for 6. You're breaking up. I think you said A, right?
I didn't hear anything she said. Sorry.
I got A for number 6.
I did get A for number 6, yeah.
Yeah, she said A. So,
okay.
I guess it was me for number 6. Oh, well, I'll take 7. According to liquidity preference theory, an increase in price level shifts the A money demand curve rightward, so the interest rate increases.
I got A as well.
I put A as well.
Okay.
I've got 8. According to liquidity preference theory, the money supply curve is, and I put C, vertical.
I got vertical as well.
Same here. I think, who is?
Have 9?
Yeah, I think so. Brandon.
I'm pretty sure I got 10.
Okay. Which of the following events could explain a shift of the money demand curve from MD1 to MD2? And I kind of guessed on this one, but I put B.
I put B as well.
And I guess got A.
Decrease in price level.
Yeah, I also put A.
Because if the vertical axis is the price, as it moves, that price is going down.
Okay.
But I don't. That was just my.
But if you look at the side with R1, R2, and R3, so is your interest rate.
Okay.
And so that's where I came up with that decreased the cost of borrowing.
The reason why I put A was on page 460, it has figure 1. And it shows the interest rate causing a a change in the quantity of money demanded, so it's moving along the curve rather than causing a shift.
That was kind of my same thought. Rates would move along and prices would cause a shift.
Yeah, that's why I chose that one.
Because every day our rates fluctuate.
Right, so a change in an interest rate wouldn't necessarily cause a whole shift. Because it's at every price level, right? It has to occur at every price level for it to,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that matters.
All right, so we're on number 10.
I guess unless we want to talk about that one some
Yeah.
more, I don't know.
All right,
Anybody
well, I
else?
guess we can. Anybody else want to focus on 9, or are we ready to move on to 10?
Oh, let's go 10.
What's going on?
Okay.
Okay, for 10, which of the following sequence best explains the negative slope in the aggregate demand curve? This one was pretty tricky, and I came up with C, that the price level down equals demand for money down equals the equilibrium interest rate down, which then the quantity of goods and services demanded up.
That's what I got also.
I put C.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
The reason I had a hard time with this one, I kind of just wanted to clarify, my other choice was D, and the only difference I saw between the two is, so the price correlates with the demand of money. They go about the same direction. When the price level goes up, the demand for money goes up because everybody wants more money, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if your equilibrium comes down and your price level's coming down, your demand for money's got to come down. So
Okay, that clarifies a little better.
Right, because people would want to hold less, or wouldn't feel like they needed to hold more money.
Right.
All
So
right,
if it costs less to buy your groceries, you're going to hold less at home and put more in the bank to try to earn interest on it, which in turn is going to drive down the interest rate because there's more money available to lend out.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying that.
All right.
Yeah,
Whose turn is
go
it?
ahead. Mine or yours. We got out of order on the last one, but it doesn't.
Well, go ahead, because I don't really have the answer to this one. So.
Okay, I'll take it. Number 11, other things the same as the price level rises, and I put B, the interest rate rises, causing a movement along a given aggregate demand curve.
I got A.
I put A as well.
And I had a big fat question mark.
And see, I think one of the reasons I chose B is because this kind of goes along with 9,
Mm-hmm.
is that the price level causes a shift, but the interest rate is a movement along the demand curve and doesn't cause a shift.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
That's why I went B, because it kind of goes along with 9.
No, that makes perfect sense. Why I didn't coordinate the two.
I'm blaming it all on Keynes.
Right. I was still blaming turkey, but whichever works, I'm good. All right. So I'll take number 12, which is the scenario. The following information for the small imaginary economy. When an income of 10,000, consumption spending is 6,500. When the income is 11,000, consumption spending is 7,250. The marginal propensity to consume for this economy is, and I got C, the 0.650 or 0.664, depending on whether income is 10 or 11,000.
I got B, 0.750, and what I did is I took the consumption spending and I subtracted the 7,250 with the 65 to get the change, and then I took that change and I divided it by the income difference, which got me the 0.750.
Which makes sense now.
I got D on that one, and I don't remember how I did it.
I got A on that one, but I didn't like it because I got 0.65 and 0.659.
Yeah.
That's
I couldn't get 0.664. That's why.
right.
So I didn't feel good about. I put A, but I didn't feel good about A or C. So
Yeah, and that was kind of me. I had picked A, and then when I did the math, it's like, well, that one kind of rounds kind of to 6.6, 0.664, but
I think I kind of came across the formula when I was reading just the other day, and that's how I just put it all in Excel. I just got the differences in the consuming spending and divided it by the differences in the income, and I got the 0.750 on. So I didn't question it if I got the number right on.
So you took the difference. Can you explain?
So
that?
I took the 7,250 and I subtracted it with 6,500, and then I took that change and I divided it by 1,000 because that's what the difference of the income was.
Oh,
Here,
interesting.
I can throw out my calculator.
and I guess the word marginal means the difference. The difference between the growth of the one to the other. I mean, that's what marginal means. The word. So I could see where that.
Oops.
And I was racing, and I haven't read the entire chapter yet. I was trying to just get enough to get the
So
homework
yeah,
done.
the difference is the 750 divided by the 1,000. Because if you took the 11,000 and the 7,250 and you divide it by the 10, then you'll have the 1,000 difference, and then you'll have the 750 difference, and that's took the consumption spending and divided it by the income.
That plus that. That's good. We don't.
Let's see if I can't find it on the chapter here. It's
469 is where it talks about it. And it is talking about measuring the total change in demand. So what you did is measuring change.
Right.
So I don't like my answers. I'm good with yours.
Agreed.
all right. We'll settle for B.
This late in the semester, I hate to say it, but I just don't really care.
Hang in there. We're almost there. Hang in there.
Don't
tap out.
Now's the time to quit caring.
I know, and my whole everything takes everything in me. I even have had extra time at work to work on homework, and I'm like, I just don't want to. I'd rather do work.
Christmas holiday. Everybody just wants to be done.
I'm just done.
Burned out with this semester.
Mm-hmm. It's all right. I'll do it. I'll make it.
Okay. All right, I got 13.
Okay.
As real GDP falls, I put C. Money demand falls, so interest rates rise.
I got D.
I also got D.
I got D also.
Demand falls.
Because that's our gross domestic product. And if it falls, I thought there's not as much things to buy. So we don't need as much money. I'm really stretching here. But that was where my brain went.
Money demand.
All right, are we moving on to 14 then?
No, not yet. I don't know if I'm sold on D. Bob, explain why you chose C.
Well, it was a long, aggravated decision that involved a lot of cursing, and no, I just was basically I was looking at a decrease in the just a decrease in money, and so I kind of coordinated that with interest rate rising.
Well, my thought process that kind of wandered with the GDP, with our products decreasing, there's not near as much money to go around, and so we would all want to figure a way to lower the interest so we can make our dollar stretch the farthest. And so, I mean, the money demand would fall in coordinate with the GDP. That's kind of how my roundabout answer came to D.
Well, if the money demand falls, since it's a GDP thing, that would cause a shift, right? So it's shift left.
Yes, I believe so.
I'm trying to think what that would look like. So
I think it'd shift to the left. Everything would go down.
So shift left, which would cause a decrease in the interest rate. Money
Right.
falls. People want less money on.
D makes sense. I was just thinking of a contraction, and
Okay.
and so I wasn't. Like I say, this one that kind of sucked. I didn't. Anyhow, I worked that one over and over and over, and finally just kind of went back to just some basic.
So
I just tied it together with a contraction in aggregate demand, and so then with less money, then that's where I came up with the interest rate going up. But I think what you're talking about makes sense. If there's a shift and it's to the left, everything will come down. So that D makes good sense.
yeah, I was trying to think of the opposite. If money demand increases, that's because the price level has gone up. Which, when the price level goes up, then the interest rate goes up with it. So if the money demand increases, then the interest rate rises because the price level's gone up. So then on the other side of it, interest rate would fall. I guess. I don't know. Okay. Who's got 14?
I do.
Okay.
If the MPC is 0.8 and there are no crowding out or accelerator effects, then an initial increase in aggregate demand of 120 billion will eventually shift the aggregate demand curve to the right by, and I put 600 billion. C.
I put C.
I got
Me
B,
too.
but that was kind of a shot in the dark.
Yeah, I didn't even get an answer because what I came up with wasn't even an option.
So you got C.
Yeah.
What formula
Yeah,
did you use to?
I don't remember. I didn't make any notes on my sheet.
It's the multiplier formula.
Right.
The multiplier equals 1 divided by 1 minus what is it?
The
MPC. Yeah. So it's 1 divided by 1 minus 0.8. So you get 1 divided by 0.2, which gives you 5. So there's no crowding out or accelerator effects, then your multiplier is 5. So 120 billion times 5 is 600 billion. Page 469 has the formula.
460.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll just definitely have to focus a little bit more on that. All right, so moving on to 16.
15.
15.
15.
15.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, I totally spaced. I was looking at 15 when we were talking about 14, and I really did get C for 14. Wow. I'm totally out of it today. I was right on. Never mind. Okay, so for C, or for 15, in response to which of the following events could aggregate demand increase by 15, I got B. The stock market boom simulates consumer spending by 550, and there is a small operative rounding out effect, which I think is the same formula as the multiplier, is what I used.
Yes. What did they do that?
I did the formula just the other day, and I just
yes. Yeah, on the two consumption spendings, I think it was roughly 0.84. I got 0.84 for the top one and 0.83 for the bottom one, but
Yeah, but if we do the difference, now that I know to do the difference?
it'd probably still be pretty close, I think. But you could do the difference. All right, I'll mute.
500 minus.
500 divided by 320. I came out with 0.64.
So the difference is 320 divided by 500 equals 0.64.
Yeah.
And then take that 0.64 and apply that to the multiplier, the 1 divided by 1 minus 0.64.
One divided by so you get the 278.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That I got 1529. The other one was I got over 3,000, but 1529 with a small. It didn't. I thought
So
it was,
29 is just a small crowding out.
That's a really
It's not
small.
too much off of the 15.
yeah, so that makes more sense than what I had with the 6.2. Because I got a multiplier using the 0.84. I got a multiplier of 6.25, which was over 3,000, which seemed like kind of large, but I knew it wasn't 300, so that's why I chose B. But it gets it a lot closer doing it how you did, Jordan, on that by figuring the difference. So
Awesome.
I like that. Yeah, I think what you're doing is right there. So we all agree with B?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So I think it's me, 16.
Sure.
Suppose the multiplier has a value that exceeds 1 and there are no crowding out or investment accelerator effects. Which of the following would shift aggregate demand to the right by more than the increase in expenditures? I put D, all the above are correct.
That's what I got too.
I got D.
I put D.
Okay, I think I'm 17. Let's see if I guessed right. Suppose there was a large increase in net exports. If the Fed wanted to stabilize output, it could, and I chose B, decrease the money supply, which will reduce the interest rate.
I got D.
I got D.
Is an increase.
I also got D, but as far as that other one we chose, like
Right.
13 we put as money demand, but I guess that's demand and not supply.
Right.
Maybe that's the
Right.
difference. Okay. All right. I got D. Yeah.
I'll concede very quickly.
Anybody else can do 18 because I didn't get an answer.
I have a guess.
I got D, all the above.
I also got D. Yeah.
Sounded good.
Help me understand how C worked into that.
If it's left alone, the way the economy corrects itself to the equilibrium is instead of going from B to A, it will go from B to that point where AD2 crosses the LARS. So it drops down. So the price level has to drop down because now at point B, the demand, that's the new demand curve. And so if it's left alone, then there's nothing to shift it back up. So the demand is just going to move along that line. And where it crosses the money supply line is the equilibrium point. And so that is, the y-axis is price level. So the price level is going to drop in order to bring it back to equilibrium.
Okay. See, and I was thinking over the long run that it would correct itself. I understand over the short run that it's got to be manipulated, but I was thinking over the long run that it would correct itself. So that was why C wasn't working for me. All right, but I understand what you're saying. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Described it a lot better than I could.
Yeah, it does correct itself. It just has to stay along that new demand curve. It won't, unless something causes it to shift back up. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I didn't really, I couldn't explain A, but B and C worked for me. That's why I chose D.
Okay.
I'd say unemployment rises on that one because the price level as it decreases.
Yeah.
But
That was my thing, was that the price level, everything's going down. So
yeah, they'll employ less people.
Right.
Okay. Brandon, you want to take 19 or?
Yep. Which of the following policies would be advocated by proponents of stabilization policy when the economy is experiencing severe unemployment? And I put C.
I got C as well.
That's what I chose too. Which is my job, spending government money.
All right, number 20, the opponents of the active stabilization policy. I got C, believe some effects of monetary policy may be long-lived.
Same C as well.
I got C too.
Yeah.
Well, we can tell this is a tougher chapter. We were on here a lot longer than we have been.
Yeah, that was difficult. Hopefully we did
second guessing myself.
I know.
Right.
Hopefully we did all right.
It's okay by me. I'm good.
Yeah, but you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't.
Throwing in the white towel.
I don't. Oh. I wish I did.
Shutting down. Still haven't even finished reading the chapter.
I haven't. And I have accounting that's due in an hour and a half, so it's bad.
Well, I think this is our last meeting, so.
Oh, it is.
It's been a pleasure going to class with you guys.
Yeah. You guys have been great. Thank you for your help and understanding and explanations.
Yeah. Appreciate everybody's
We all
input.
benefited from this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark, for hosting us all the time.
Yeah.
I can see why they have this as part of the class.
I can too.
Yeah,
I'm thankful for my fellow classmates.
All right. Well, you all have a Merry Christmas.
You too. Good luck on finals,
Take
guys.
care.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.